Meanwhile, to Red Hill, the Navy has awarded a contract to a firm called Nakupuna Companies to get public input on repurposing Red Hill after defueling is complete. The Navy did not say how much this contract is worth or when this public outreach program will begin. But when it's all done, the top 5 ideas will be further analyzed for feasibility before a final analysis is given to the state and federal regulators. The Navy says removing the tanks entirely is a high-risk project, but they have vowed to not use Red Hill for fuel again. For more on this now, let's bring in our Mahealani Richardson. Mahea, thank you for joining us today. We've got two major spills, one at Red Hill and one at Haleakala. Can you talk about the overall awareness that people of Hawaii are having in light of these recent spills?
Well, Dylan, we just got this news release yesterday, and it was sent out by the U.S. Space Force's Indo-Pacific. And I'd have to guess that a lot of people have never even heard of this. This is another branch of the military that is working atop Haleakala. And certainly environmental activists, people who are involved in the Red Hill movement, people who are concerned about water are very surprised, shocked. It's spreading on social media. People in their minds now thinking, what? Another spill? Well, now this is a completely separate spill of that 700 gallons of diesel fill that the EPA and now the the EPA and the Department of Health are also overseeing this cleanup. One thing I wanted to mention, Dylan, is that we got a press release about this, and in the past, before Red Hill, I'm wondering if we would have even been notified about something like this. So certainly the fuel spills from 2021 at Red Hill have definitely raised the awareness amongst the general public and amongst the different branches of the military that people need to be aware of when something like this happens.
Yeah, well, maybe this is a step in the right direction for their transparency. For people who are vaguely unfamiliar with Haleakala, can you touch briefly culturally, how important is Haleakala to the Native Hawaiian people? And for something like this to happen there, how major is it?
Well, people are very familiar with the controversy at Mauna Kea with the telescopes, and there is a similar controversy with the telescopes and the military activities atop Haleakala. Some may remember Uncle Charlie Maxwell. He fought against telescopes and any type of non-cultural activity at Haleakala. So folks after him, people who were inspired by Uncle Charlie, certainly would be very upset by something like this. And so this is just another spark in the fire for the movement, for people who are trying to have sensitive places like Haleakala be a lot more aware, be a lot more environmentally friendly for cultural activities up there at the Mauna.
Yeah, Mahea, I also understand that you've been closely following the AFFF spill investigation. What's the latest there?
Right. And so for Red Hill, there's actually, two major spills that we're talking about. 2021, that's the massive 20,000 gallon fuel spill that happened. And then on the anniversary, around the anniversary of the Red Hill fuel spills, there was another spill of toxic firefighting foam, about 1,300 gallons that happened from the Red Hill fuel facility. So right now, we are still waiting for the investigative report to come out. I just talked to the Environmental Protection Agency. They said they're expecting that investigative report to come out February 6th. Now, does that mean that the report just goes to the EPA and doesn't get sent to everyone else? They weren't really sure. So we've been waiting since last November for this investigative report to come out, and also the video of that toxic firefighting foam spill to come out. I have heard that the video shows that the firefighting foam goes under a doorway and then goes out the tunnel. It's a very slow leak. It's not the dramatic burst of fuel that we've been showing on the news from the fuel spills from 2021, but there is video. I'm told it is 11 hours long, and that the investigative report, at least locally by the Red Hill Task Force, has been completed. But now that investigative report is in the Pentagon and the Department of Defense, and that needs to be reviewed and then reviewed again. And so at this point, we really don't know when that investigative report will come out.
Our Mahealani Richardson giving us a full recap on all the environmental concerns around Hawaii. Thank you so much, Mahea, for your insight.